All right, everybody, great day to be in the market. We finally have another green day, or a green day after quite some time. So really what it comes down to is flexibility. And I woke up today, it was a little bit surprising as the markets took a little bit of an upswing. So you can see here the S&P 500 is up. That's pretty great. We're up 1.63%. Trad markets, that is a monstrous day for them, and they have been actually in the losing end over quite some time. And if we take a look over, let's say like, a month or so, S&P 500 has been down. But take a look over like 6 months, it's been up much higher, but it's been a little bit of a rebound action, especially today, and looking pretty good. And of course, we take a look at our markets themselves, even better. And we're almost back to a $3 trillion market cap. Of course, you all know this because you've been looking at your portfolios and checking price action. I know you have. Don't lie to me. And we can see that Bitcoin's doing pretty good, 88,411 in 24 hours. That's pretty great. That's a pretty big move for a market cap of almost $2 trillion by itself. Ethereum in 24 hours up 5%. Let's see how high that can go. Solana, I think, is almost the big winner in the top 10. But you know what beats Solana? Dogecoin, 9.1% rally for the number one meme coin all the way back from 2014. So congratulations, Dogecoin holders. You're crushing it. I think in the top 20, we're seeing something really great with Avalanche up 10%. And I want to say that there was one more winner in the top 50 for 24 hours, which was Pepe Coin at 11.4%. So, I mean, we welcome these gains and these are great, but remember, we got a long ways to go. If you're in it for the long haul, you're going to be just fine. Just know that we've been taking quite a hit over a specific amount of weeks and months, but I think things will be doing pretty well. Again, I think we're in the right place at the right time, and all you got to do is just stick around and you like it. So what happened to this? Why did this actually happen? And this goes down to essentially the markets they can be longer irrational than you can be solid. And it just really comes down to flexibility. And this was actually a quote that was from President Donald Trump. It seems like every time I mention Trump's name, people get triggered for some reason. Just remember, he's the president of the United States. It's not like everything he does moves mountains, but some things he actually does. And this is a report from Economic Times. U.S. stock market today, market surge, Dow Jones 500 points. We just have to talk about that. Trump's tariff flexibility. I was like, what the heck is that? So apparently a couple of days ago, as the reciprocal tariffs coming into play in April 2nd, we talked about this ad nauseum on the channel. I think we all know what that is that it was a very staunch position that Trump was going to take. But now it looks like he's like, we might have some flexibility. And that's par for the course. So again, just a comment on flexibility can move the markets. Now, this is, of course, behind what's going on behind the scenes. There's a lot of things that are going on with rate cuts, non-rate cuts. Is it going to be another World War III? Are we going to see a ceasefire? Are we going to have other economic problems or a black swan? And of course, what is the more economic data coming out? Of course, this is all going on behind the scenes, but if we take a look at just some of the things that are moving the needles, this is one, I think, of the big things because people and the markets get scared. President and his economic advisors are suggesting that tariffs expected to take effect April 2nd could be less dramatic than anticipated. Here's what we know. The focus of the reciprocal action now looks to be more targeted than originally thought, according to people with knowledge of the planning, though it will still hit countries that account for most of U.S.'s imports. That would probably be China and Mexico and Canada, India, and things like that. Comment Friday from Trump. I take that back. It was more than 2 days ago. It was on Friday, which affected the markets today. Maybe people picked it up, or maybe it was late in the day. He states, I don't change, but the word flexibility is an important word. Sometimes it's flexibility, so there will be flexibility, but basically it's reciprocal. Because of that, people have taken those words and extrapolated that into he's going to be super flexible. Let's run the market up. Now, you can take a look at it as like, that's the narrative and that's what it is. I personally believe is that whales or people behind the scenes are the ones that we'll never know about. They use stuff like this to manipulate the market and move things and get things done and start to really make some profits before they crash things again. Now, I have no proof of that, but it just seems like everybody's searching for a narrative. So there you go. So that's what's happening with flexibility. it could be the big thing. But if we really look down into it, it's good for the companies. It's good for the stock market. Things are rallying. Everybody's happy. I'm happy. But these companies, it's a weird thing, because I know people will say, like, we're early. I don't think we're that early. If you take a look at companies that are investing into Bitcoin itself, depending on who you ask and which data that you take a look at, it's somewhere between 81 and 90 different companies in the world have put Bitcoin on their balance sheet. And you can find this over at treasuries.bitbo.io. And this one only has listed 67, but I know for a fact there are more than that. And when you just see that, I mean, just think to yourself, how many different publicly traded companies are out there, not just in the States, but globally. And if 67 are the top 67 that are actually absorbing or investing into Bitcoin and putting on their balance sheet, what would stop the other ones from doing it? Well, obviously it's volatility, but I have to tell you, some of these companies, they're making out like gangbusters. One of those being MetaPlanet. You don't know who MetaPlanet is. It's a Japanese-based company, investment fund, but mostly they have to deal with real estates and hotel businesses and things like that. And I'm just going to give you a pop quiz real quick. Where do you think MetaPlanet started to buy Bitcoin and put it on their balance sheet? I'll wait. Yeah, so it's right after 2024. I want to see April or May, when you see like a big hockey stick go up, then a little bit of a plunge, and then it goes straight up vertical. But for, 20 years or so, pretty stagnant. And I mean, good for MetaPlanet for figuring out the whole puzzle of, let's just put Bitcoin on there, and then we'll rally it up, just like what MicroStrategy does, and then off they go. And I will say, I'm happy. This is what I want to see. I just don't understand why other companies don't do more of this. As long as they have a long-term time frame and they can explain that to their shareholders, I just don't get why they wouldn't do it. Anyhow, let me know where I'm off in the comments section as far as my thinking, as far as companies putting Bitcoin on the balance sheet. It's just odd to me. But there is one more thing. I found this interesting. MetaPlanet announces the purchase of another 150 Bitcoin. This was just 2 hours ago, after Eric Trump joins the company. Wow, isn't that crazy? I've never heard of a president's son joining a foreign country or company to do things. That's unprecedented. Anyhow, we'll talk about that in the Q&A. And then this was, again, just to reiterate this part, Simon Gerovich, who is the CEO of MetaPlanet, him and the shareholders got a specialized video recording from Michael Saylor. Michael Saylor's all happy. Great guy, seems like, and everybody's really happy for what is happening. And I think this is the catalyst for other companies coming in, if we could have time. But I linked down in the description. You can check that out. But again, MicroStrategy, MetaPlanet, and a host of others, they figured it out, just like what MicroStrategy did. And again, just like MetaPlanet. Can you figure out here when MicroStrategy put Bitcoin on the balance sheet? Yeah, exactly. After about 20 years of chopping sideways forever. It was actually August 7th, 2020. And then, of course, its all-time high was 421.44. And it was a pretty good play. Now, of course, MicroStrategy has done a stock split, I believe. Correct me in the comments section. And one of the things that I will say, and people will say, well, are you nervous about one entity owning that much Bitcoin? Because I don't know if you guys knew this, but as of today, they own they just passed 500,000 Bitcoin owning. There's only 19.8 million in circulation right now, with a maximum of 21 million ever being mined. So how do you feel about just a single entity owning that much Bitcoin? Is that good or is that bad? For me personally, I will say, and of course this might come out to bite me later, but Michael Saylor has come out and has said, upon his death, because he has no children, upon his death, there is instructions to destroy the keys for the Bitcoin that he personally owns, which I believe is around $1 billion worth right now. And what the company MicroStrategy owns, which is much different, that will go into a fund or into a charity that will advance the ideas of Bitcoin. And that's what it is supposed to be done. So, I mean, as far as I can see from the outside looking in, if you had to have somebody hold it, would you rather have Michael Saylor or what he just said, not selling, making sure that the Bitcoin, his keys are eradicated when he dies, and then it actually goes into a charity? Or would you have somebody like the US government owning all your Bitcoin? I'm just curious to see what people say. And let me know in the comment section. And then lastly, just to round this all out, I got to tell you, this has been a very, very bullish video. It feels very, very odd. Bob Lucas, if you're not following him, very good TA, great trader from what the people tell me. And he came out in this tweet just a couple hours ago and said, yeah, Bitcoin closed the week above the prior candle, leaving behind a likely swing low. Stock should have bottomed for now. No real excuses left for the bulls. The cycle count is on their side. There's a host of different things you can nerd out on as far as TA and time frames and 4-year cycles if you are so keen for that. That's why I linked in the description, but it's looking pretty positive. We'll see what it all comes down to, but that is it for today. So look, if you like today's video, give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing. We talk about it's time sensitive. Now, if you want to do a little Q&A, I'll answer all your questions to the best of my abilities, and we'll go from there. What do we have? Bob is a legend. Bob is a legend. I've never seen his face, but he does some good videos. And if you're looking for more of the TA side, definitely check out Bob Lucas. Let's see, Ferraris here, there's our Plater, who was a bot here. Rusty bot. Just kidding. Taking profits, you are easy to please. Yeah, some people will never take profits. Some people will hold their Bitcoin forever or their altcoins, and that's fine. So it depends on what you want to do. Me personally, I have no alliance to any altcoins, so I will be selling them. I know people will say, I'll never sell my altcoins. They're full of it. They'll dump on you. Let's see. Cycles old as time. You can buy a discount. It's all reason for effect. Yeah, Daniel's got a good point. Rob says that the market's rallying for a bit before you decide to dump on us. I need to sell to pay my taxes. That's fine. I'll put that in my agenda to not dump on everybody. So there's a link in the description, and I'll show you when I'm going to dump. And it's when I'm going to sell 58% of my crypto. And when I do it, I'll come out here on I'll put a video. It'll just be called I Sold. And then I'll tell everybody, I sold this much. I'll probably ladder out. And then after I ladder out, I'll probably do a video and say, thanks so much for the fond memories for 19, 20, 22. Oh, wow. All right. 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Jeez. Almost 6 years on YouTube. And I'll say, I will bid you adieu, and I will leave. And I won't come back until the bear market, because all the crazy stuff happens in the bull. I want Ross Pool before I die. You can get on Fiverr. So yeah, it's pretty simple. Let's see. Keep your Bitcoin, take loans against it, trade alts from Bitcoin. Jerry yesterday had a pretty good thought process when he was talking about the ETFs. Who was it? It wasn't Cantor Fitzgerald. I forgot who he was talking about. And he says you can have some type of loans against the ETFs that you have. I have to get him to knock that down and we talk about it. But that would be interesting. That'd be one big reason to get into ETF, besides the fact of, it's kind of hard to wrench attack you when you have everything in a ETF that goes through banks. Rob, can you tell on that shirt I'm having to squint? Sorry, it was a long day today. This is my Bull Run Orange Bitcoin shirt. So, but you're right, it is pretty obnoxious. It's you and your luck. It's a good question. What is the one question in crypto that no one is asking you, Rob, that we should? Let's see. I don't know what that is. Yep. Minutes Network TGE. So guys, remember on the second channel on D.A.N, we did a interview with Josh Watkins, the founder of Minutes, who is the brother of Mickey Watkins over there at World Mobile Token, and they're working in conjunction, and they've got some pretty big things happening. 1.2 billion users, pretty crazy. Think about that. And that video is over on D.A.N. Links in the description. And it looks pretty good. And they're going to have the TGE this month. This is not my words. This is Josh. He said, hey, Q1 2025. I'm like, Okay, it's coming up. April 1st is right around the corner, man. Okay. Plato when Bobby, it's a good question. Shantae Edwards. Did you ever dive in the pool at 100K? Yes. And the next question you might ask yourself is, I didn't see that, so it must have not existed. And I know that's what you would say. So if you look in the description of all of my videos, I have these things called, how did I put it? Oh yeah, crypto critical videos. And this one right here, the 100K pool jump, if you click on that, you will see me jump into the most advanced green screen ever created. And here we go. Man, this is long. I made this 1:40. Wait for it. There we go. Look at that form, holding the nose and everything. Right? People say, well, that's not you. That's just whoever that guy is that lives in that pool. It can't be Rob. Wait. Now when the pool gets into, or the Bitcoin goes to 250K, maybe I'll do it again. Yeah, so there you go. So yeah, I think Rob's pool is a green screen that was his pool before altcoins debacle, perhaps. Fidelity. Construction worker T. It's pretty good. See, now you put two and two together. I lost all my funds on Fartcoin, and now I have to go work construction. No jobs beneath me. I can do that. Construction guys make a lot of money. Let's see. Next to 100K, go dive in the pool live. No. Body double, very true. Yes. I saw a glitch AI. Did you see the 6 fingers? Yeah. Irash says, you pre-record that pool jump. I did because I don't have that pool in Puerto Rico. So that's the pool in Texas. So I was like, well, I better record this now because, I mean, it just looks a lot better. Everybody knows it. That was Dan. That was not Rob. that man is much younger and fit. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm 22 years old. It just, these cycles really take a number on you. Look at Charles Hoskinson. I think he's 24. Let's see. Pool construction. Shiba says, what are your thoughts on the number of rate cuts in 2025? I think I'm just going to go in line with everybody else's guesstimations, which who knows if those could be true, and just say perhaps 2, but I'm not reasonably optimistic. I mean, we did have a slight decrease in inflation numbers. Non-farm payroll was a little bit out of whack, but we didn't see big jumps in unemployment or initial claims, not big jumps. So I'm feeling pretty good that maybe we can knock out 1, maybe 2 rate cuts, and everybody can be happy and keep going about their day. Let's see. Yeah, smash the like. Unity Warrior says, bull run begins after tariffs are completely gone. Let the tariffs go. I don't think it's about gone. I think it's just about the market understanding what wants to be done. The real problem, I think, is that the market's like, okay, Trump says this, and then he goes back on what he says and says, we're just going to be a little bit nicer, right? Or more flexible. And then tomorrow, after this video airs, and I'm like really positive, Trump comes out and goes and might say, nope, I don't care what's happening. It's going to be 25, 35% on everybody, maybe 200%, and that's it. And we're not going to be flexible. You're like, what the heck just happened? And off you go. That's it. Hey, Thrive. Ben says to watch the Bank of Japan next meeting. Ben's got a good idea. Big Pay, good to see you streaming. Yeah, I couldn't make it over to Humidity Athlete today, so I was here. I thought I gotta go. There's this great place in Puerto Rico. It's called Humidity Athlete, and they have like cold plunges and infrared saunas and stuff like that. It's awesome. Helps it rejuvenate, especially as you get older and things just start not working. Anyhow, Pay goes there. He knows what I'm talking about. Big Pay. Let's see. A few weeks ago, I saw your AI giving crypto a hard time and insulting a group of bag holders. What happened? We had to rescind those. When will we close the weekly candle above the BMSP, the support band, the Bitcoin market, you're talking about the Bitcoin support band? Ben just did a great video on that. Matter of fact, that they're coming up to the support band, but we fell below it, which sparked the debate of how low we could actually go. And it's weird because like you'll see support bands, and of course they're just support levels, right? I mean, I'm not a TA guy, but it seems to me that TAs, it's just as much as you knock on these support levels, it's kind of like ice. If you keep hitting it, it'll fall through. And there's also levels that you can really go down and slip far. But every time I hear about like there's a support level and we broke this support level and there's nothing to stop it from going all the way down, it stops. And it's the same in reverse, where people say, well, if we go above this number, there's no like areas of resistance and we could go to the moon. I'm like, well, that's great, but it doesn't always happen. It rarely happens actually. So I just take a look at this and go, the support band's great, the moving averages, but and it just everything can. If you really think about it, it's good to feel like we're in control and we know exactly what's going on. But there's only so much data that we can put into it, and there's just some pieces of data that we're going to miss. And that's not to say that something can't come out like some other black swan event. Hey, sorry about that Ukraine-Russia peace deal. Looks like we're going to keep fighting, and then the market tanks. But the support band doesn't matter. Let's see. Ben is a TA sorcerer. Yeah, he is. He sent me a message last night, and he's like, hey, you up? Yeah, I'm up. Hey, would you be okay if we're gonna do a skit? I said, okay. And the skit apparently is him playing Sheldon or something like that and talking about Bitcoin dominance. So Sheldon from the big bank. So I'm like, oh, this ought to be good. And he's like, you're going to be in it. I'm like, oh, this ought to be awful. Probably be funny. Let's see. Ben is one of the few chart guys that actually join. Wow, that's true. Rock VDM, $5. Thank you. I appreciate it. Now I can go invest into, let's say you had $5. What would you invest into right now? Yeah, you can give me the safe answer, Bitcoin, but let's see, what's around $5? Well, I can't get one OKB. Oh, that's obviously the wrong way to look at it. I can get segments of it. It's like I can get $5 of Bitcoin. That's no problem. But $5, you know what I would do? I'd buy 2 XRP. That way the XRP community could stop hating me because I sold all my XRP a long time ago. Well, sweet. Yeah, Roz that's a good one. Sweet. Hey, you know what? Tonight there was supposed to be some type of conference with SWE speaking at the event here in Puerto Rico. Then they canceled at the last minute. I don't know what the hell happened, but I was kind of pumped to listen to that. Not so. Near's a good one. Fig says Satoshi coin. Sure. That's interesting. Virtuals. Yeah. Why not? ADA. That's a good one. Ondo, I think, is in a go place with real world assets. We'll see. Oh, Bobby had $5. He wouldn't listen to any of you losers. He'd be like, look, I'm the biggest loser here, and I'm going to not even attempt to look at all this top 100 stuff. He might get into Fartcoin. He might get into, well, actually, he goes for like what's pumping now. So he'd look at this, the top gainers, be like, AI rig complex, what's that? It's up 50%. It's number 540. He would not care about the fundamentals. He would put $5 in, and then he would steal from his wife and put another $1,000 in and write it up. So that's what Bobby would do. Bobby's kind of trash. How much tomato coin for $5? Probably a lot. I'm pretty sure it's like a penny now. Although it was at 2 cents at one point. Jail stool. Oh yeah. What do you think about IP story token? It's an interesting project. You're taking the intellectual property and putting that on the blockchain, which I tell you, I think at some point has to be done in some way because, and with AI taking over, like what would be considered like your intellectual property when AI could just take it and people would say, oh, it's just AI reimagining things, and you could never get any kind of royalties for it. It's I think it's something that has to take a look at. And if you've taken a look at like AI recently, like what kind of videos it can do, oof, it's scary. Bobby would head over to Plan. That's true. well, Sweatcoin ever be worth anything significant? Let's hope so, but it's not looking good, man. It's not looking good. Let's see. What's Polymarket doing? Wisdom of the crowd. It did work out. Oh, yeah. So let's see. What does it have for crypto? And of course, if you're in the United States, you cannot do this. You cannot go on to Polymarket and gamble, which is kind of weird because did you know that E-Trade, excuse me, not E-Trade, Robinhood is getting into the predictive markets, and that's going to be offered on their app, kind of like what Polymarket does? Yeah. I guess they went to I guess they know somebody who knows somebody to actually get that. Let's take a look here. Okay. This ought to be good. What price will Bitcoin hit by March 31st? Wow, 25% of people are saying 95,000. I'll take that. Okay, so let me just say this again. If you're in the United States, you cannot use Polymarket, and you better not use a VPN to get around that, because that goes against the terms of service, and I cannot condone that kind of degenerate behavior for what you're doing and going in there and gambling. Using a VPN and getting around terms of service, that's not a good idea. Anyhow, 25%, interesting. Bitcoin price on March 28th, I don't care. Oh, this is a good one. What price will Solana hit in March? Oh, this must be a very new one. Doesn't have all the bids in. These are the top ones? Oh, how about this? I like this one. Ethereum above 2,000 on March 28th. Yes or no? Ooh, I like that. Anyhow, enough of gambling. Real PG, you can bet sports in there, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure too. Let's see. Polymarket. As Elon tweets. Number of tweets, that's funny. Sports. Well, let's see what sports has to say. We're talking about hockey. Yeah. NBA. 6,000. Oh, $6 million volume. Wow. Huh. Well, that's something. Yeah, never use it. Yeah, you can't. If you're in America, you can't use that. Mark, don't tell the wife. Yeah, not relationship advice, but that's a pretty good play. Bitcoin only. Render up. I have some render. That's not a lot. Let's see. Dirty Dan says, after this bull run, one part of Puerto Rico should have looked to buy a property. It depends on what you're into. If you're, really like you want to be around the hustle and bustle, around the tourism, just any place on Condado Avenue will be great for you. So that's it. If you want to get away from things, I recommend like Guaynabo or Caguas, someplace like that, or Bayamun. And yeah, be like that. But or if you just like the want to be around a nice peaceful beach, ocean park. That's my fave. So yeah. And if you guys don't round trip your bags, you can actually do that. Rock says, you're in Puerto Rico. I am in Puerto Rico. One of the greatest places on the planet. Except for the sales tax and the crazy import tax, which makes things super expensive. That should be my 6th rule. Don't tell the wife or significant other. It's excellent advice for crypto investors. You're welcome. Any price predictions for SWI? I don't have it. But if you want to look at like a website that does, we can do that. All right, let's do that. So here's where I got my thumbnail today from. Let's see. Let's take a look at some risk levels, shall we? You know, I didn't even see. Oh, man. I got to turn off. My Bitcoin is above 0.49. I really should think about turning off my my DCA orders, because I do a dynamic DCA. So I should have gotten an alert on this. Maybe I didn't check my phone. So anyhow, these are risk levels. Take them with a grain of salt, but is over time, and these things will fluctuate as price movements go. SWI is a very new coin, so the newer the coin, the less data points that you have. But right now it is, as far as like risk levels go for SWI, it's one of the least risky that you can have. Now XRP is a higher risk because the price had a massive uptick after the legislation was, or the litigation was stopped by the SEC. And they had quite a big run, so of course they're at 0.74. Actually, just for the kicks, what are we looking at here? 0.74. What do we think things could go? Well, I'll just tell you this: if I was an XRP, if you're looking at 0.74, I always look at 0.85 levels as like, maybe it's time to start offloading some things and de-risking. At 0.9, maybe a little more, add even more volume. And at 0.95, I'm pretty much out. So that's just me. Now, of course, people that invest into XRP are like, why would I do that? It's going to go to 589 bucks or whatever people believe. And sure, good luck. I mean, it might happen. I don't know. But I'd like to de-risk and, put in other assets. So SWI is very low. The ones that are lower in risk is Polkadot. It's been abysmal this cycle. Cosmos, 0.23. Algorand, crazy. Shiba Inu, VeChain, and leading the pack of degenerates, Polygon. Oh, and Tezos. Sorry, Tezos. So SWI, if we take a look at 0.262, that's pretty low on the risk level score. So near no risk would be 0.0. That's $1.23. I remember Guy from Coin Bureau talking about it when it was like 60 cents. He's the one that got me into it. Smart chap, got a good site. I don't know if you've heard of Coin Bureau. But right now it's 0.262, $2.44. Let's say at 0.5 level, you're looking at $4.50. Okay, I could see a double plus. 0.7 levels, $11. 0.8, 17. That's getting pretty red. Again, 0.85, I'm like, okay, if I bought this at 60 some cents, now it's at $2.44. It's hard to wait to $21 or at 0.9, $26 or at 0.95, $33, but it's got a lot of upside potential. It does. And it's fast, and there's some adoption, and there's some partnerships being announced. So I would take a look at SWI for sure. But as far as price predictions, I'm just going to tell you, SWE could be anywhere from 2 cents to $738 by the end of this year. I know, it's crazy, right? How does Rob get all his price predictions correct? I know. I just do ranges, and so far I'm 10 for 10. Now, when I did like straight up price predictions before, got them all wrong. So now I just do ranges. Yes, exactly. Yes, Rock is correct. This is gambling. Wife doesn't want to hear about volatility just when the gains come in. Exactly. Why do you want to stress your wife out? You don't want to stress your wife or your husband, do you? Just invest. And then, you know, and they're like, if you share a bank account, well, I can't help you there. But, you know, if you keep things separate for businesses and stuff like that, maybe you just happen to, you know, put some money into Bitcoin some days, or maybe some SWE, or maybe some Ethereum or Solana or Cardano or XRP, whatever it is. And no one has to know anything until those big fat gains come in. Now, if you round trip your bags, or also what could definitely happen is, you know, you are a part of some scam, either social engineering or some kind of hacking or whatever else, then I can't help you either. That's why, like, there's gains to be had in this market, but it is so risky, even if you do everything correct. So that's why, again, there's links in the description. There's 2 videos on how to avoid scams and attacks and things like that. Just watch those 2. They're very basic. And even those, you know, it's not all encompassing, but it'll get you ahead of the game. Let's see. Always love this show. Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, Polygon is terrible this cycle. And I don't know why. Does anybody know why? Like, it seemed like they were building. They had some good partnerships. I think they even had one with Starbucks at one point for some kind of community points, but then just fell off the face of the planet. I don't know. I don't know. Let's see. No risk it, no biscuits. Scared money don't make money. I did a lot of round tripping, but got no frequent flyer miles, just some heavy bags. Yeah. And then this question, what are your golden rules? That's these, right? There. And it's very simple. It's all gone. Don't invest more than you can afford to lose, right? If you're looking at the $5 that I just got on a super chat today, and you're going to invest in some crypto, and your hand trembles when you hit the buy button, you're probably investing too much. Flip side, you take $1 million and you throw it all into Fartcoin, and it doesn't bother you one bit because you are a billionaire. Everybody's different. So if don't invest more than you can afford to lose, and it's all gone. Now, Michael Saylor will say, invest all the money that you can't afford to lose. Essentially saying, you know, if you have money, it's all going to evaporate anyhow, and it's all going to go away from inflation, so put it into Bitcoin. Sure, gotcha. Next one, everything's a scam until proven otherwise. Even this channel, even what I'm talking to, I could be scamming you right now. So don't trust me, anything I say, do your own research. Even if I call you directly on a Skype call and I sound and look the exact same, and I hold up a newspaper with the date, and you ask me all the questions, and I'm like, still don't trust me. Everything's a scam until proven otherwise. Don't leave anything on exchanges. I think we all learned a lesson, right? Use cold storage devices, and also use multiple cold storage devices. I've heard a lot of stories where people put it on one cold storage device, and for some reason they lose their seed phrase, or there's a fire and the seed phrase is on a paper and the actual device gets roasted, or for some reason they gave up their seed phrases to some social engineering or hack, and they lose all their funds or whatever else it is. So diversify in your investments and diversify in your security. Put things on different cold storage devices, hide things around. And also, and I found this to be true for me, maybe not for you, if you want to get into ETFs, I give you full permission to do that. If you want to, say, all that, well, Bitcoiners will say it's not your keys, not your crypto. All right. Well, if you get hacked, and like we just talked about, like I've known friends who have lost 7 figures, does it really matter at that point? So use an ETF, get into that and say, I'm just going to do this. I want to have them handle it, and that's it. Also, maybe look into what I do. I use iTRUST, not for my Roth IRA, but I use them to custody a fraction of some of my crypto holdings. And they use COINBASE Prime, which is the same one that BlackRock uses, and also the same one that MicroStrategy uses. And I do that. And I keep some on a hot wallet, but I know that that's going to be hacked at some point. So I don't really, if it has over $100, I'd be surprised. And then lastly, like I said, multiple cold storage devices. And also do what Crypto Crow, Jason Appleton, does, is he has an old computer and he uses that as his cold storage device. And it's not even connected to the internet. And it's not even in his house, apparently. I don't know where he's hiding it, but he said, yeah, he goes, if it's a pain in the A for me, it's a real pain for the hackers to get me. So that was nothing else. Don't use leverage. There is exceptions to the rule. If you want to do like a 2 or 3x and you want to gamble a bit, that's fine. But see rule number 1. And if you're way ahead over your skis, then don't do like 40, 50x. And lastly, take profits, because nobody ever went broke taking profits. I know people say I'm never going to sell because to the moon, and that's fine. But for me, I like to diversify a little bit, and that's it. Those are the golden rules. I guess the last one would be don't tell your significant other, but that's not a golden rule. It's just a funny rule. Yeah, nuance and context make a dramatic difference. True. Winston, I like where this guy's head's at. Going back to 73K. Man, I hope so. That'd be great. Because you know why? Because if Bitcoin goes back to 73K, where do you think Ethereum's going to go? And where do you think Solana's going to go? Where do you think Cardano's going to go? All those things are going to go, they're going to fall in the dumper. But we all know where things are going eventually, right? Have we ever had the type of push that we have from government or for nation states or for insert said rumor about sovereign wealth funds or insert some rumor about International Monetary Funds putting Bitcoin on their balance sheet? Who knows, whatever it is. And then, of course, we had this many ETFs, this many institutions coming in, and even like we talked about, businesses putting on their balance sheet, even though it's only like 88 of those. I think we're still early. So when I see like this, I'm like, go ahead and go back down. I've got some money I've saved up, and as I've accumulated through rentals for the short and long-term rentals we have, I'm ready to go. And that's it. So, I mean, I've been buying in this last leg, so we'll see if we can do it again. Yeah, Jimmy, someone took my profit. Some piece of trash scammers did. Nah, nuance and context, right? Hopefully. What are some good take profit strategies? How to reinvest profits? Well, let me tell you. There is this thing. There's a link in the description. Just check out these 2 videos. Why and when I'm selling 80% of my crypto, and this next one, stress-free profit taking, or the half and half method. That's just one part. And go from that. Also follow, it's got a good strategy, is the guys over at Coin Bureau Trading. Very smart guys. And they've got, I think they just put out a video about profit taking. It was very good. So check that out. The next question about where to reinvest into profits, that's a tougher one. And for me, like I personally like real estate, because markets go up, markets go down. People are always going to need a place to stay. You got to live somewhere. You've got to have shelter. It's one of the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So real estate will always be a part of my portfolio. And then I like gold, I like silver, I even like some equities. So those types of assets. And that's just me. But I'm trying to get some people on the show where we can talk a little bit more about real estate. All right. Oh, Mo says Bitcoin will trace 33% to the last all-time high before going to the new all-time high. man, that'd be crazy. Because if we retrace to the last all-time high, I want to, correct me in the comments, I believe it was around 67,336. So if we retrace to 67,000, imagine what the alts will do. And that's just it. Like when things start to retrace like that, alts could go down 90%. And even if they rally the next day up 90%, you're still way underwater. So you have $100 worth of whatever, fart coin. It goes down 90%. You got $10, right? But then at the next opportunity, it rallies 90% up. What do you got? You only got $19. Correct me in the comments. I think that's right. Math. But I mean, you have to really recoup tons of your losses. So if you go down 33%, I mean, you're looking at magnitude of rallies to actually get back to where you were and to actually be in profit. And the only way to really buffer that is to, this is what I do, you don't have to do this, is to start buying on the way down, which is what nobody likes to do because everybody's like, this is not going to happen. This is not going to work. And when you buy on the way down, you decrease your cost basis. So when it goes up, you're in profits. I will tell you this, the people that like were making fun of meme coins today, they're feeling pretty good if they kept buying on the way down. Even Bitcoin, feeling pretty good. Cardano, probably. Solana, yeah, sure. But again, you have to keep buying on the way down and then level out as you go up. Yeah, fart coin. Last all-time high, 71,900. I think we're talking about the last cycle in 2021. That was only 67. Richard Hart. I heard that they dropped the case against him. So good for him. My seed phrases are my kid. I'm putting all my alt profits into strategy. Not a bad play. It's funny. Oh, hey Rob, what do you think about AIXBT meme AI agent? I have some of that. I got a lot of altcoins I shouldn't have. And there's so many AI agents out there that are especially gonna come out in the next 3 to 6 months. That's hopefully AIXBT can keep up. We'll see. Are they not continuing with April 2nd tariffs? That's just it. They are, but Trump said it's a flexibility. So whatever the heck that means, we'll find out. When gaming run, not for sure. All right, everybody. So I think that's it. See no more questions. That's it for today. So like today's video, thumbs up, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let's get out of here. Enjoy the day. See what happens. Tomorrow could be a black swan event. Who knows? I don't know. But again, solid advice. If prices go down, great, because inevitably, we know where we're going. And if they keep going up, it's good too. Anyhow, thanks so much, everybody. See you on the next one. Have a great rest of your day. Adios.